to call her something no man before you had the courage to use. Have you ever asked yourself why she barely remembers you even though you were the kindest, most loyal, most available man in her life? Maybe you cared for her, supported her dreams, defended her name, showed up when she needed you, and still you faded from her memory. That is because desire does not live where effort alone exists. Desire stays where identity was created, and a man who does not know how to name does not truly know how to lead. Right now, at this very moment, we are talking about the nickname that places her inside your world, not inside her ego. When a woman meets you, she studies you quietly, not by your promises, not by your compliments, but by how you label her. If you use the same tired pet names her exes used, those common words like babe, honey, baby, or princess, you have already lost. You are not creating anything new in her mind. You are simply standing in recycled emotional space. But when you name her with a word that does not come from softness, but from strength, her subconscious reacts differently. It feels a shift. It senses that you are not here to follow her story. You are here to write your own story. And if she wants to be part of it, she will have to step into your world and learn your language, not the other way around. Imagine this moment clearly. She is talking to you about her day, her thoughts, her wins, her frustrations. In the middle of it all, you look at her calmly and say, "Little savage." You do not explain, you do not defend it. You simply say it and continue the conversation as if nothing happened. Inside her mind, something starts to move. She begins asking herself questions she cannot answer. Why did he call me that? What did he see in me? What instinct pushed him to say it? What does that word mean to him? That nickname pulls her out of her own narrative and places her inside yours. And most importantly, it unsettles her. Women do not obsess over what they fully understand. They obsess over what they cannot neatly define. Most men make the mistake of using nicknames to please, to sound romantic, to be liked. They do not understand that a nickname is a symbolic act of leadership. When you name her, you are saying, "I bring you into my world." You are saying you are not just anyone. You are saying you are mine on my terms. And if that name does not come from your inner strength, your grounded core, your masculine truth, she will feel it instantly. She will sense the weakness. She will discard the word and eventually discard you because she is not searching for sweetness. She is searching for direction and dominance. Before you search for the perfect nickname, you must ask yourself one simple question. Am I naming her from need or from choice? Because only the man who chooses can name. And only the man who names leaves a lasting mark. Naming her is the first expression of power. But keeping her in that emotional space requires deeper understanding. A woman may admire you with her mind, but she only surrenders with her body when something primal is triggered. Something beyond logic, beyond reason. This is the second awakening in this message, and it is the one that activates her instinct to submit sensually. A woman is not just looking for a good man. She is looking for the man who makes her surrender willingly, not from fear, but from attraction. From that masculine energy that cannot be explained, only felt. A nickname that does not flatter her, but softly dominates her, touches an ancient part of her psyche. A place where desire blends into surrender. It is not an insult. It is not crude. It is a key that unlocks her most vulnerable and feminine self, the part of her that wants to be guided. This kind of response is never created by a man who asks for permission. It is created by a man who radiates direction. In deep psychology, this is known as a calm, dominant frame. A man who does not need to raise his voice, prove himself, or push boundaries because his presence already sets the tone. When that man calls her my little wolf, my pretty witch, or my storm, he plants a message that the female mind cannot reject. On one side, it recognizes her uniqueness. On the other, it symbolically claims her. That tension between being seen and being led is what fuels obsession. Stoic philosophy teaches that real dominance is not about controlling others. It is about mastering the emotional response you awaken in them. When you understand this, you stop searching for cute names and start choosing strategic ones. Names that do not comfort her, but wake something inside her. Names that quietly remind her you are not here to please her. You are here to provoke, to lead, to ignite. Understand this clearly. A woman does not surrender to the man who only brings flowers. She surrenders to the man who makes her feel delicate without breaking her, small without humiliating her, desired without begging. That nickname is not playful talk. It is a silent declaration that you understand her nature, sometimes even better than she does. And when you say it, her body responds before her mind can argue. Once you understand that the nickname should dominate, not flatter, and that its true power lies in the instinctual, it is time to move deeper, because there is a thin line between what a woman desires and what she fears losing. That tension is the fuel of obsession. This is where everything begins to shift. Now we talk about the nickname that reminds her she is not special, yet makes her desperate to be special to you. A woman's mind cannot tolerate feeling replaceable. She can accept praise. She can accept dominance. But the moment she senses that you are not clinging, something sharp awakens inside her. It is not love, it is competition, it is the need to be chosen. The right nickname here should sit on the edge. It should feel like it could be used on another woman, but when you say it to her, it feels different. It carries a hidden meaning. That ambiguity is dangerous because it does not confirm her place and it does not remove it. It keeps her suspended. And in that emotional space, she gives more, tries harder, invests deeper. Imagine this. Everything is going well. You are talking, relaxed, confident. You casually call her my little storm. It is not cute. It is not romantic. But it carries weight. When she asks why you call her that, you smile and say nothing. Her mind begins to race. She wants to know if that name belongs only to her, but you do not answer. That uncertainty grows into obsession. Psychology calls this emotional dissonance. She likes you but does not know where she stands. And instead of pulling away, she leans closer. Her mind wants to solve you. Her ego wants to secure what feels uncertain. If you can hold that balance without explaining yourself, without over-talking, without becoming emotional support, you stop chasing. You begin claiming emotional territory with quiet elegance. Before going further into the deepest layer of female desire, pause for a moment. If these words are opening truths no one ever explained to you, acknowledge it. This knowledge is not for everyone. The final understanding does not just create obsession. It restores the respect many men believe they lost. Now we move into the most dangerous territory. This is where men fail if they lack self-control, because here you are not just dominating. You are touching her emotional wound. You are stepping into a space where she does not simply desire you. She surrenders without understanding why. Many men make the mistake of speaking only to a woman's surface self, the confident mask, the strong front. But every woman carries a hidden fracture, a place where she once felt unseen, unchosen, or unsafe. When a man instinctively names that place without exposing it, something profound happens. The forbidden nickname here is one that feels intimate without being soft. It makes her feel seen without being exposed. It whispers, "I know you," without saying it aloud. And when that happens, she bonds deeply, often without realizing how it happened. This name should never be spoken loudly. It should be said in a calm tone, close enough that she feels your breath. Not in public, not in front of others, but in a private moment where her guard is already low. It is a name that only you use. It becomes a secret code between you, and secrets create emotional glue. They build a private world that only you share. When you use this nickname, you do not repeat it often. Power is in rarity. You wait for the right moment. A moment when she opens up, when she laughs from her core, or when she shows you a vulnerable side. Then you say it once, slowly, and you move on. You do not stare. You do not seek a reaction. But inside her, something locks in place. She will replay that moment again and again in her mind. This is where obsession is born. Not from gifts, not from attention, but from emotional imprinting. You have touched a part of her no other man reached, and she knows it, even if she cannot explain it. She will compare every man after you to how you made her feel in that moment, and most will fail, But here is the warning. Never use this power if you are not grounded. Never play with a woman's emotions if you are empty inside, because what you awaken in her will also awaken in you. If you are insecure, it will destroy you. If you are weak, it will consume you. Only a man who knows himself should walk this path. Real leadership is not about taking. It is about holding space. It is about being steady when emotions rise. It is about knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. These nicknames are not tricks. They are expressions of your inner frame. If your frame is strong, the words carry power. If your frame is weak, the words fall flat. So remember this, a woman does not fall for what you do. She falls for how you make her feel about herself when she is around you, and names shape identity. When you name her, you shape how she experiences herself in your presence. That is the deepest influence a man can have. Use this wisdom carefully, not to control, not to manipulate, but to lead with intention. Because the man who knows how to name is the man who knows how to create a world. And every woman secretly wants to step into a man's world that feels strong, grounded, and alive, realizing the real reason. This is why words truly matter, not just because they are spoken, but because of where they land inside her. When you speak with calm authority, when your voice is grounded, when your presence feels steady, her nervous system relaxes and opens. She feels held without feeling trapped, chosen without feeling owned. That is the balance. That is the craft. And that is why these names feel forbidden. Not because they are wrong, but because they carry power. Used without inner strength, they damage connection. Used with control and awareness, they create a kind of obsession that lasts far longer than beauty, attention, or effort ever could. Most men look at a woman only on the surface, only at what is obvious, only at what she shows the world every day. They never reach what truly drives her. They stay focused on her smile, her confidence, her opinions, her career, her strength. They never touch what actually moves her from the inside. That quiet emotional wound she carries, the one she never talks about, the one she barely admits to herself, let alone texts about or shares with a therapist or a friend or anyone else. That wound is hidden deep, but it controls her reactions, her desires, her fears, and her attachments. And the truth is that wound can be activated with a single well-placed word said at the right moment. The mistake many men make is believing emotions should be avoided because they fear looking weak or soft. They think power comes from distance, silence, or emotional avoidance. But this is not about crying with her or becoming her emotional support animal. This is about seeing what she hides. It is about noticing the crack behind the armor and being brave enough to name it, not to heal it, not to fix it, but to claim it, to show her you see the part of her she thought was invisible. A nickname that touches that wound, the one formed in her childhood, can change everything. Her insecurity, her old feeling of rejection, her fear of not being enough is not said as a joke. It is said calmly. It is said with a steady tone that mixes softness with direction. It could sound like my scared girl or my little chaos or my hidden one. These words are not loud. They are not dramatic. They are quiet and direct. And when you say it, something shifts inside her. Not because you insulted her, but because she realizes you truly saw her. You did not fall for the strong role she plays for the world. You did not get distracted by the mask. You saw the part she keeps locked away. In that moment, she can no longer protect herself the same way. Her usual defenses stop working. Her armor cracks and her mask becomes useless with you. She feels exposed but not unsafe, seen but not judged. And this is where many men misunderstand power. The mental trap they fall into is believing they must stay cold or distant to keep control. They think hardness equals dominance. But real power is not hardness. Real power is depth. It is the ability to see something in her that even she has been afraid to face for years. When you give her a nickname that touches her emptiness, not her beauty, not her body, not her role as a woman or partner, you are telling her something without saying it directly. You are saying, I do not need you to be perfect. I do not need you to perform. I just need you to be real with me. And for a woman who has spent years being